Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Hey, Deborah Ray. Yes, I'm going live today. How are you? Can you hear me, Deborah? No sound? Okay. I'm going to take this off. I was trying out a mic. Okay. Can you hear me now? Deborah, can you hear me now? Hey, Roxy. Roxy. I was trying to see. I'm on the computer and I'm on my phone. I was trying to see if you could hear me on the computer. Thanks, Roxy. Thanks a lot. I'm not going to be on here long. I just wanted to touch bases with everybody to talk about my topic today. Hey, everyone. How are you? Hi, Hunter. How are you doing? Hi, Night. What is it, Nabi? Kareem? Thanks for coming through. Thanks for subbing. I'm glad everyone's coming through. I was trying to try out the StreamYard, but I'm having difficulties with that one. Okay, Deborah, that one's coming out good. I'm going to shut this other one down because it's not performing correctly. We're going to leave that one. Okay. So, as I stated earlier, let me see. I changed the position here. So, as I stated earlier, starting over at 60 was not part of my plan. So, what we're going to talk about today is what I would tell my 40-year-old self. Just looking back at different things, what I would say to that 40-year-old And I'm going to show you a picture of me at 40. Hope I could find one. What I would tell that 40-year-old self is that no matter what goes on, you have to stay headstrong, okay? Let's see. Let's see if I can find any. What you have to realize is, as time goes on, we're going to develop knowledge or take in more knowledge so that we can develop our own personalities, so that our personalities will also mature with our physical being, okay? Because when I was 40, I had brown hair, I was slim and trim. And with time going on, I was doing things sometimes just off the cuff. You know what I'm saying? I was more spontaneous doing things. If me and my friends, we say, hey, let's, we be in the house like a Sunday night listening to oldies. Okay, I call my girlfriend up and they're playing songs that we like to hear. I would jump in my clothes and go out, go out, go down to the club, kick it, have a couple drinks, enjoy the night, come back home. That was in my 40s. I did stuff like that, But as time goes on, I hate to say it, I have slowed down, okay? I still like to go out, but I have to plan those situations. I take my time. I don't just, I will do things spontaneously. I'm not going to say I don't, but I'm slower now, And I say that I'm slow and old. And, my children might say I'm old. They think I am. But I still get around. I still do what I want to do. So what I would tell my 40-year-old is it could get to a point where you might not want to do that each and every night. You might not want to go out there and be in the streets and party and stuff like that. Back when I was in my 40s, I was working, I was collecting my coins so that I could build up my bank to get me a new home. By that point in my life, I was separated from my husband, going through a really bad divorce. That's a topic I will talk about at another time. I went through a real difficult divorce, but I was banking my coin. I was working 3 jobs. I had a full-time job and 2 part-time jobs. I was working each and every hour of the day. You remember them date books? You might get them from the dollar store or whatever. I would get my date book and I had my schedule like to the T. Okay? When I said I worked a full-time job, I worked Monday through Friday. I come home Friday, get in the bed. I would get home like 4 o'clock. I get in bed, get a couple hours of rest. I was scheduled to be in work by 12 o'clock. That was for my second position. Okay. I worked every other weekend, second, third shift. I worked 12 to 8 in the morning, get off 8 in the morning on Sunday, all right? And had to be to work Monday the next day. That's the kind of schedule I was keeping. And sometimes, not only did I work each and every other weekend at one job, and then I might work during the week, like Monday through Friday, during the week at another job. That's how much I was working. And I did bank up some coin. I did that for a while. You got some questions for me? Okay, Deborah. And so I banked up my coin, and I was able to get a. What happened is, after my divorce, I moved into my home, my old home, where I had left my husband. He was in our original home. What happened is, he abandoned the house, so I had to move back in from my apartment and then move back to the house. When I went back to the house that he abandoned, I had to go in there and have it fixed up. Okay? Literally. He left a hole in the ceiling in the living room. Like half of the ceiling was missing, because the plumbing in the bathroom on the second floor had started to corrode. It messed up the ceiling. I had to go in and fix it. Okay? That was in my 40s. I did all of that. I fixed that house up. That house is still standing, okay? Because eventually I sold it and moved on. But it's still standing. It still has, I had did the repairs in the house, the plumbing, electrical, put a roof on it, new windows and doors, and a deck. Everything is still there. The windows, doors, deck. I did that in the 90s to that house. Okay? I probably should have stayed there because the house was paid off. I paid the house off because that's how much work I was doing. I paid the house off. The year and what happened is, in 99, I got sick. I had worked those 3 jobs from, I want to say, 96 to 99. Okay? I had worked myself into the ground. I was sick as a dog. Ended up in the hospital. Emergency. I had to have an emergency operation. My gallbladder was gone, and I had pancreatitis. I had messed up my pancreas from doing all that work. Because even though I didn't feel good, I'm the type of person, I still go to work. And I know that's not good. It's not good at all. But that's my character. That's the kind of person I am. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to try my best to do it. And so I ended up in the hospital because I was going to the jobs because I wanted that money. So I made sure I went to work. So going to all 3 of those jobs, I was popping ibuprofens like they were candy. Okay? Just to dull the pain so I could get through the shift. So I ended up in the hospital, which was bad. And by me ended up in the hospital, what I would tell my 40-year-old self, talking to my 40-year-old self, is listen to your body. I told anyone that. Listen to your body. If something's not right, if you feel like something is taking you out of your element, even if it's a dull, get it checked out. Do not go around here popping ibuprofen, Motrin, what else they got on the market? Advils, Tylenol, putting all of those painkillers in your body. What you should do is go to the doctor, find out what is wrong. Okay? I was working so much, I worked in the hospital. That's the bad part. I'm a medical person. Okay? I worked in the hospital, but we make the worst patients. People in the medical field, we make the worst patients. We try to self-diagnose ourselves, and you can't do that all the time. Okay? That's why sometimes with my situation, I was at the point where it was an emergency. I knew it was an emergency. I knew I had to go in. I called my doctor. It was a Friday night. I'll never forget, in October. I'm out there getting bargains shopping for Christmas, okay? Because some store had a Christmas sale. I'm out there shopping, not feeling good. Like, I thought I was going to pass out. You know what I'm saying? Would you say, Deborah, I had so much pain last year and couldn't eat for 2 weeks? It was my gallbladder. There you go. That was me. Okay? I wasn't eating. During that time period, y'all, I was a size 9. Okay? All right? I wasn't eating because I was just going. Okay? And you know what? When you don't listen, God has a way, and I believe in God. God has a way to shut you down. He'll shut you down now. He said, either you're going to listen or that's it. You're going to shut down. And I almost got shut down. That's why it was an emergency situation. I went Christmas shopping. This is Friday. I get off from work feeling horrible. Horrible. Do you hear me? But what I wanted to do, I was so afraid that something was going to happen to me. I called a meeting with my sons, told them, look, I called the doctor. I'm not feeling good. This is what I'm going to do. I wrote down all of my important information. Okay? Told them if something happens to me, if I don't come back, this is how I'm talking. If I don't come back, this is all the information you need to do X, Y, and Z. Of course, they didn't want to hear it because at that time, I think my oldest son, he was in his 20s. Okay? He was in his early 20s. He was like 20, 22. And, you know, and they're going on down because my sons are like 2 years apart and then 3 years apart. So I called a meeting, told them what was going on, that I had to go into the hospital. I was scheduled to go in that evening. But before I got home to get into, to get to that point, I had gone Christmas shopping, like I said, getting things for my family because they had a big sale at, like, it might have been Macy's or something. I went and got this Macy's sale. Then down the street from the Macy's sale, I went to my bank at the time that I was dealing with, paid off my mortgage on my house, y'all. Do you hear me? I paid it off. Cash. Because that's how much working I was doing. Okay? I paid off the mortgage on the house. The lady at the bank was like, wow, you know, do you want to have time? You want to sit down, open an account? That lady don't know. I almost passed out at her desk. I told her no. I was just paying that off, and then I was going. I did that, and like I said, went home, called my kids in, told them what was going on. I let my mom was living in. I told her what was going on. I went in the hospital, y'all. And for a gallbladder, a normal gallbladder procedure normally takes 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 days. Okay, and now nowadays I understand sometimes, depending on the situation, they could do it within 24 hours. You could be home. Guess how much time I spent in the hospital? I was in the hospital for 10 days. Whenever I get sick, it seems like it takes me forever to heal. Okay? Everyone else, they have their kids. Yeah, Deborah. You're right. What the hell? It took me 10 days to get out. My sister, who's no longer with us, she's my sister next to me. She was a nurse, okay? It was so bad. My girlfriend called my sister to tell her, hey, get up to the hospital because I was talking out of my head. They had me on morphine. I did not eat the whole time I was in the hospital. I was on a morphine drip the whole time. Okay? Because my gallbladder had went, but it had also, gallstones had gotten into my pancreatic duct. So they fixed the gallstone, but I had to go back in to the OR because they had to do additional procedure or surgery on me so they could fix my pancreatic duct. That's how bad it was. Okay? I was talking out of my head, like I said, because I was in so much pain. By this point, I was in a lot of pain. Okay? So, when I say I've been through quite a bit in my life, I normally don't talk about it. A lot of my friends and family even told me that I probably should write books about all the things I've been through. And this is even when I was in my 20s. I thought about doing that because I got some stories to tell. It's just that I'm afraid of being sued because some of the people that are involved in these stories, some of them are still living. So I would have to do a lot of changing the names to protect the innocent type of thing. But yeah, that's one thing I would tell my 40-year-old self. Listen to your body. Stay healthy. Don't just keep going. Everybody, you are not the Energizer Bunny. And after a while, I don't know if you realize, remember that commercial, the Energizer Bunny? After a while, them batteries going to run down. Your body, you're going to fall over, just like the Energizer Bunny. Everything you can't just keep going. You keep burning that candle from both ends. Sooner or later, the candle going to run out. Okay? It's going to burn out. Okay? But when I was in my 40s, that's how it was. Let me tell you, I was single and I was just trying to, I guess because I got into my marriage at such an early age, I just felt like I missed so much. And because I was in that situation, I was still young. I wanted to be with somebody. So I'm out there, enjoying life. Now, one thing I can say about your girl, I was still skeptical about sleeping around. I won't do that. I will, I am very selective about that. But I will date. I have been across the United States, out the country. I would go to work, take my little overnight bag with me. Hey, I might not be home till Monday, time to go to work again. That's that's what I was doing back then. Okay? I love to travel. That is my thing. I do love to travel. So that's the kind of life I had. Let me hear some of the in the comments. Let me know what you would tell your 40-year-old self. Anybody got anything you would say to your 40-year-old self? About what's ahead, or what to avoid as they progress going through the years. And me being 40 was a good time in my 50s. And I really enjoy life all the way through. I'm going to tell you the truth. I still travel to the day. I still travel, not like I used to. Because there was times I would take my bags with me and keep going. It's too much. I got a list. Well, Rox, maybe you could talk about it when you go live. You're going to go live later, right? I know what you mean. I know. And I think back to when I did leave, my ex-husband, when we did split up. And my boys, like I said, my two older boys were teenagers. My youngest son, he was like a pre-twin, like a preteen, because he was 10 when I left his father. So when I would, I thank God my parents was around. My sons, they always, I made sure they were good. I would either take them to my parents' house, they would stay with them, or, my sister lived in the neighborhood where we lived at the time when we moved away. So I would either take them down the road to my sister's house, and they would stay there. And I hate to say it, I would tell them, because I know if they see, they might see the video. I don't know. But I would tell them I had a business trip to go on. That was my cover for going away, and meeting up cross country or whatever, hanging with my friends and stuff. But yeah, that was that's how I used to travel and move about, in my 40s. Like I said, I did enjoy life, and I tried to be as careful. I will say I was as careful as I could. I'm quite sure God kept me from a lot of dangerous situations. I've been in some crazy situations. Everything was not peaches and cream, but I made it through. I made it through. And I am thankful that somebody was praying for me. If I wasn't praying for myself, somebody was praying for me. But yeah, that's my story for my 40-year-old self. And I would tell my 40-year-old self to probably, I could have saved more money than I did. That is a financially, being financially stable is something that a lot of people don't think about. Like I said, my health is one thing, and being financially stable. I was able to, like I said, I took care of my children. If they needed something, they had it. Okay? Did I go overboard with it? No. Because my sons, especially my two older sons, they were teenagers. They had jobs. One worked at the McDonald's and one worked at the Burger King. Okay? And they had jobs. So that's how we moved in my household. Okay? Like I said, I had 3 jobs. They knew mom's out there working, so they knew that they had to help, with the situation too. And it helped me. They didn't have bills or anything, that wasn't my concern because I had the bills covered. What they did as far as helping me is I had a certain allowance that I would give them for their clothing and stuff. Now, if they wanted some new Jordans or something like that, I don't buy Jordans. I don't wear Jordans, okay? I'm not a sneakerhead, but they are. So, what they would do is I would give them what I had allotted for, excuse me, what I had allotted for to spend for them, okay? And then they would take their money and put towards it to get what they wanted, all right? So that's how we used to do things. And also with them working McDonald's and Burger King, remember I told you I worked those two different jobs, two different shifts. If there was a time that I couldn't cook dinner before I got home, or cook dinner before they got home or something, they would take turns. One would bring home food from McDonald's and the other one would bring home food from Burger King. That's how we worked it in my house. So that was a plus too, food wise. Another thing, like I said, financially, I wished I had stashed away more funds because, yes, I was traveling a lot every chance I got, and I would spend money on traveling, or what I did do in my 40s, this was in my late 40s, is I had a house built, okay? So just so that I can have some of the finer things in life, that's what I did with my money. I had a house built. Nothing extravagant because I couldn't afford extravagant, but I did have a house built. I enjoyed it. I lived in it for 20 years. It just got to a point that it was too much for me, so I sold it. So now I'm in an apartment. But it's the cycle of life. That's the way it is. But thank you all for coming into my live. I really appreciate you. If you get a chance, please. My series is Life After 60. I'm a 68-year-old woman, and 60 is not something that where your life is going to stop, or if stops, you stop living. You're going to live, and you just have to readjust to how you're going to live. That's the whole thing. And you can believe it or not, a lot of people reinvent themselves after 60. You'd be surprised. Some people become writers, some people become speakers. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of content creators on here after 60. I have had people come in my chat, okay, and ask me, aren't you too old to be on YouTube? I'm like, no. You're sitting here looking at me. If you don't want to look at me, move on. But, 60 is not a time where you could just say, oh, let me sit in this rocking chair and sit back and let life pass me by. No. 60, you could be reinvented and you could do what you want to do. That's right, Deborah Ray. I might move a little slower because I was hanging out this weekend. I had a girlfriend of mine. She was up, she came back to Philly to visit. She lived here years ago, but we hadn't hung out. She was one of those people I used to hang out with when I was in my 40s. And we hung out this weekend because she was here from South Carolina. And we were still in the car, It might took us a little time to get in and out of the car or getting in and up and down from them chairs. but we were still doing what we do. And that's what you do. And it's I don't have a what you call it, a love partner right now, or you know I live I live alone, all right, but I'm good. I am good. I got peace of mind. I don't have to worry about when I eat. My whole family eats. Thank God. Sometimes I do have my children and my grandchildren come visit, but it's not every day. And I thank God for that. They're able to take care of their own families. But yeah, I am enjoying my 60s right now. I'm really at the end of my 60s. I hope to be able to move into my 70s because I'm 68. But it's whatever God has in plan. But having a peace of mind, yes, Deborah, it is very important. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, Roxy, are you getting ready to go live or what are we doing? So, if everyone, I believe Ready Rocks is going to be going live in a few minutes. So if that's the case, y'all can go over 15 minutes. Okay. Ready Rocks is going to go live in 15 minutes. Are you going live on TT or YouTube? Okay. We're going to meet up with Ready Rocks in 15 minutes. I want to thank everyone for helping me and encouraging me to move forward with my platform. And please, like I said, okay, she's going on YouTube, Ready Rocks on YouTube in 15 minutes. And I want to thank not only Ready Rocks for encouraging me, but the Fierce Mompreneur. If anyone get a chance, go visit her channel. She's the one who encouraged me to do this 30-day series, and I really appreciate her help. She's been, giving me a lot of feedback on how to improve my channel. I'm trying to get some more things put in place. I started with StreamYard, but I have to figure out some glitches to see, what to get it going. But thank you all for coming through. I love her too. I love Fierce. And thank you all for coming through and coming to my live today. This is SRCMotherof3. You can go to my channel and pick up. I have playlists for all my different topics. And we're going to be doing this for 30 days. This is day 4. Today was what I would have told my 40-year-old self. Thank you all for coming through, and I will see you tomorrow. I'll probably be dropping a video tomorrow, and keep up with my series. Like, subscribe, share, and please leave a comment. If you're getting this on replay, please drop a rose in my comment section. Let me know that you have reached the end of my video. Talk to you soon. Stay young. Peace.